Some people would say what we see is what we believe, but in actuality, what we believe is what we see. So if you believe that you're on the verge of this crazy breakthrough right now, your reality will reflect that, okay? And you're right there. You are right there. You have already established all your routines. You have already established a high level of discipline. You've proven to yourself time and time again that you're committed to the process. The only missing piece to this formula is stepping into and embodying a new level of conviction within your own beliefs. So someone might ask me, right? How do you do that? How do you strengthen your level of belief within yourself and within the process? The answer is always internal work. Okay, internal work, man. I've seen it time and time again, particularly with entrepreneurs, because a lot of the entrepreneurs that I know, bro, like these guys are dogs. Like they work, okay? Like they go hard, they go to the gym, they eat clean, they're relentless. But whenever they come to a point where they're stagnant within their business or within themselves, um, in regards to personal development, it's always a personal problem. It's never a business problem, man. And I've experienced this myself at firsthand. Like there was a point in time where I felt like I was taking all the right actions. I was doing everything right, okay, as far as like my routines and this external reality that we live in, right? But nothing was moving. And it was not because of my inability to take action and to be disciplined and, to do all the right things, but it was a personal problem. I didn't believe fully, like to the core within my heart and soul, that I was worthy. And y'all, like that's really hard for me to admit, but it was the truth. But once I acknowledged that truth for what it was, I started to see massive shifts in my life. You know what I'm saying? Like right now, like I've been out here in Thailand. I'm in Chiang Mai, Thailand right now. This is one of my favorite places in the world. And Thailand is always a place that I wanted to come out to. Um, and like I've been working on my business for quite a while, but it took a different level of confidence and conviction within not my business, right? But me, like who I am, before I could actually take that leap of faith and, start, just traveling the world and working remotely from all these different places, right? And if you're watching this video right now, I think chances are that you're experiencing something very similar where, you know what it is that you want, you know who you are and what you're capable of, but it's just a matter of actually believing it before you can actually see it, which is the most common hurdle that a lot of people, entrepreneurs, like fall into. Even if you're not an entrepreneur, man, like just stepping into a new life, you know? So I really encourage you to take a step back and to take on a different approach as far as how you go about, experiencing this new shift that you're about to experience, right? Because you're closer than you think, man. I'm telling y'all, bro. As soon as I started doing like some internal work for a few weeks, like just really like going in on, you know, myself, you know, how I perceive myself. Like, how do I actually see myself as a person? Do I respect myself? Do the habits that I have in place, like, are they in line with the character of the person that is worthy of experiencing what my dreams were at that time? I had to come to peace with what the truth was at that point in time. But the great thing about this life and the great thing about the mind that we've been given and the tools that we've been given as creators, man, is that nothing is stagnant. Nothing is ever just as is, like everything is moving. Energy is everything. Everything is energy. So that means everything is constantly moving. So you need to ask yourself, who am I becoming? Because you're always changing. Like that's what life is, right? Like nothing is stagnant. Everything's always moving. Once you really get a better understanding of that concept, that principle, you start to understand the currents of life a little bit more, okay? And by developing a stronger understanding of, how these motions of life really work, you start to find your rhythm a little bit as far as, how you navigate it and how you feel through the highs and the lows, right? Because it's really interesting. Like one of my mentors, well, R.I.P. Bob Proctor, something he always talked about was, yes, it's important to acknowledge your wins and to be happy, right? But you never want to get too happy, right? Because the same people who get too happy within their wins are the same people who get immensely low and depressed during their adversity, right? So that was something I've really experienced for myself. Like these motions of life, like these waves of life, you got to find your way to work with it, within it, as opposed to trying to be forceful and to try and control everything. And even when you are taking wins, like just remind yourself, like, yes, this is great. I feel enthused, but I'm still grounded, right? I'm still grounded within myself. I'm not overly excited. I'm enthused, right? That's the way I like to look at it. But I really do encourage you to take on a different approach as you prepare for this next phase of your life, okay? Because you need to be prepared. You need to be prepared. And the way that you can prepare yourself is by strengthening your soul, strengthening your spirit. And you do that by connecting with your spirit, with yourself, right? Consciously. You need to set time aside every day, the same way you set time aside to have a meal, the same way that you set time aside to link up with people, the same way that you set time aside to go to the gym. Like you need to set time to be with yourself, okay? That is the key. That is when all of the answers come to you. All of the information already exists within you. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all, man. You already have all the answers. You already have the capabilities. Creation is finished, y'all. Everything that you want already exists. You're just blinded by it currently. You can't see it yet, okay? But it exists. And the way that you can expose yourself to your dreams, the things that you want to experience in this three-dimensional reality, is to go inside, cultivate a new belief system, cultivate a new concept of yourself. How do you perceive yourself? Because the way that you perceive yourself, okay, needs to align with the reality that you want to experience. Doing the internal work has really allowed me to see the most drastic shifts in my life. So I really encourage you to just go within, okay? And I'm gonna give y'all another key tip, okay? I'm gonna give y'all another key tip. This one, I'm gonna really try and break it down in a way where you guys can really understand it. Okay, so you have a current state of consciousness, okay? Your older states of consciousness, you can't remember them, right? Like, and even if you do, like you can, like briefly, like it's so foggy. Like if you think about the state of consciousness that you had, say in like second, third grade, like the behaviors that you had, the way that you would speak, your mannerisms, all those little things. That was your old state of consciousness. You have developed so much now as a person that you can no longer even begin to understand the consciousness that you had in the second grade, right? You have completely detached from that. You have stepped into a whole new identity. You're a new person, okay? So that is what our goal is. Our goal is to enter a new state of consciousness to the point where it's so strong, it's so clear and thorough of who you now are that you have shed off the old identity and you can't even remember what that old consciousness was like. Okay? So you don't even know who your old self is anymore because you've stepped into this new identity. Okay? And the way that you can create a new form of consciousness that becomes natural, and that's the key word, okay? Natural, is by entering temporary states of consciousness. Okay? So bear with me, y'all, because this is some really powerful stuff. If you can really understand this, if you can really get a grasp for this, and if you can really get a grasp of this, like this is transformative, like for real. Got a little bug on me. Okay? So you need to enter a temporary state of consciousness, and the more you do this, the easier it'll become for that state to become permanent. You feel me? So for example, let's say I want to be a very successful music producer. Let's say that. And I don't want to be a music producer, but I think this is a solid example. So let's say I want to be a very successful music producer. Each time before I go into the studio, and say I'm about to maybe collaborate with an artist of some kind, I'm going to close my eyes for about 1 minute to 2 minutes. I'm going to breathe, and I'm going to ask myself, how would I feel if I had the #1 Billboard song right now? How would I feel? Okay, so now you start to embody the feeling. You can start feeling the vibrations within your body. Okay? And that's the key. That is you've now entered that temporary state of consciousness. Very successful, #1 song, music producer. Boom. Right? But now, that state throughout your day is gonna fade. That feeling. I'm gonna wait for this plane. That feeling state is gonna fade throughout your day. Okay? So you need to continually, consciously, again, okay, consciously enter that temporary state of consciousness of the most successful music producer. Because the mind doesn't know the difference between a thought and reality. If you continue to tell yourself that you are, and you question, like, how would I feel right now, in this moment, if I was that successful? You will embody the feeling, and the more you do this consistently, the easier it becomes to make that state natural and permanent. So you don't have to continue to remind yourself anymore because you are. Okay? Two of the most powerful words in our existence, I am. Okay? There's something the Bible talks about, there's something Neville Goddard talks about. And this is some really transformative, powerful work. You're closer than you think, man, and I'm rooting for you. I believe in you. You have all the tools required to see the shifts that you've been looking for. It's only a matter of time, y'all. Don't stop believing. Don't be limited by your physical perception, because there's more to this. Because there's more to this reality. We're all aware of it, but we just need reminders from time to time. It's just a game. Don't take it so seriously. Don't grasp onto it so tight. This is fun. Enjoy it. You're a creator. We all are. I love y'all, man. I'll see y'all in the next video. It's KT.